Hello, I'm Ivy Rivera, Psychic Medium, coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy in Buffalo, New York, where we train people here in psychic mediumship, Reiki, astrology, tarot, all things energetic, spiritual, and curious. So feel free to join us here at the Academy. You can look up some of the classes and events that are being offered here at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. Feel free to Skype in from around the world, and if you are local, please drop in and say hi. A lot of great classes coming up. I believe we have Empathic Means will be the next class on Thursday. I want to say Empathic Means is going to cover psychic ability, mediumistic ability, and empathic ability, which causes a lot of the disorders that people believe that they have out there, including, bipolar, anxiety, ADHD, OCD, things like this. So you definitely want to tune in for that one if you can. And if you're looking to have a full-length reading with me, know that I am running a holiday special right now. And I believe it's 30% off for private read. It's 50% off if you bring a friend, something like that. And you can find more information up on the website at ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. And you guys can find me on Facebook. I am going to get to questions in just a minute here. If you guys want to send your questions in, you can log on to Ustream, YouTube, send your questions there, and my producer will be passing them on to me. If you're having any kind of technological issues, as I often am, feel free to take the simple route and just text them on into me at 716-602-1391. I'm going to give that number one more time, 716-602-1391. One of the things that I like to do is to give a little bit of education before I jump right into doing the readings. And my goal in life is really to help people to understand that psychic ability, intuitive ability, mediumistic ability, empathic ability, that all of this is really part of our roots that's been abandoned. This isn't something special that only some people have. This isn't a gift exactly. Some people may have it more than others, like handedness. It doesn't really mean that everybody doesn't have the ability to do it. It just means that some of us are more highly affected by it, and that some of us engage in it more often. So what I like to do is encourage everybody to get back into their roots with their intuitive abilities. And I was at a Comic-Con this weekend out in Pittsburgh, and some people were asking me some very interesting questions, and one of the most common ones that I hear made me think I want to talk about it on the show tonight is whether or not when people die, they go to heaven. Do I believe in a God? Is there like a safe place in the light where people go and float around and never come back down here to earth? Or are people here wandering around, maybe earthbound or stuck? And what is the difference between the two? And I think that this is a great question. I don't pretend to have all the answers. My focus does not really tend to be on the issue of whether or not there's a God or is there a heaven and all of this. What my job really is just to train people in how to communicate with the dead, how to get more in touch with their intuitive abilities. But on that note, I was thinking about it, and I thought, I absolutely believe in God. I know that the spirits that I communicate with when I'm giving a reading are spirits that have crossed over into the light. So whether you believe that that's heaven, or you just believe that that's a higher energetic place that people go to, it does seem to be a place where people are more at ease, they are without pain, they are at rest in their soul. That doesn't mean that they're done evolving. They continue to work, they continue to grow, they may very well come back to earth and reincarnate and continue to learn all over again. The other idea that a lot of people have is that you cross over and you can't come back here to earth and communicate with your loved ones. That definitely is not the case. Spirits that have crossed over into the light come back and forth all the time. Spirits that are earthbound can communicate only really from here, and they're actually very limited. And I think that's the major difference between the two. A myth is that people cannot cross into the light if they were bad people, if they maybe committed suicide, or they were, they were murderers, or they made dramatic mistakes. This also isn't true. Those spirits that have crossed over into the light may very well come through with messages for you, and may come through with a ton of love and wanting to give guidance. And it's very possible that they know, what they're talking about, and that they are evolving too. So I just want to say to people, don't be so judgmental that because something that you thought was bad would prevent them from crossing into the light. You're not perfect either. We all make mistakes. There is an open door for growth for everybody. But those spirits that do choose to stay here could very well find themselves in situations where they're susceptible to negative and lower energies, influencing them, possibly utilizing them as what feels to me like a food source. They could find themselves in some trouble if they stay earthbound for too long, and it does appear that a lot of the people who choose to stay will morph into something much darker, and they tend to lose a lot of their human abilities, including being able to interact with us in a way that's comfortable for humans to receive. So spirits that are coming from the light, we feel more comfortable with that just in general. It may cause a little bit of sweating or anxiety, lightheadedness, jitters. It could cause that. Things along that line aren't as intense as a feeling of being really creeped out, or feeling like something's watching you but not saying anything, or that something's coming in with ill intentions. Also, spirits that are earthbound, they don't have a great sense of boundaries. So you may physically see them with your eyes, you may hear them with your ears, which is not necessarily their fault, but when they're touching you and coming in your personal space, that is more on them, and that does tend to be a bit of a habit. So there are some pretty dramatic differences. But I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that because of our mistakes, we can't cross. And that is especially the case with suicides. They actually tend to cross very, very quickly, are quite pleased with their decision, and I'm sure they're fine. Okay, I want to get on to some of the questions. So again, I'm going to say feel free to log your questions in through YouTube or Ustream, and my producer here will be handing them over to me. If you're having any kind of technological difficulties, you could text them in at 716-602-1391. I want to get to a few questions, as I had promised to do last week because we had missed. And now it's making a liar out of me because, like every week, I have to have issues. I found them. Okay, I'm not going to be outsmarted this week. Yes. For a minute. Give it another minute. I'm sure something's coming. Okay, so the first question that I have here, this person says, it's a long shot, but could you ask my son what happened on the night that he got hurt? Let me see what I can get with that. Okay. When I'm going over here with your son's energy, what I'm really feeling is like a lot of sorrow, a lot of apology, a lot of recognition. I feel like 3 of you, but I feel like 5 of you total. So it's 3, and then it's 4 and 5 at a little bit of a distance that he's watching over. A ton of love. As far as the female goes, who's moving up, 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 I want to say keep going to her. Keep going. I'm pushing you. I'm pushing you. Great things are coming. And he's making reference to, feels like there were some other people around. It feels as though there was a lot of sort of sloppiness going on in behavior. I almost want to say carelessness, and it feels a bit accidental to me. I'm getting the sense that his head was in a fairly clear place, so I don't want to say that he had no clue about what was going on, but it does feel like in the last moments of it, I really was not aware of that. That kind of came out of nowhere. And it feels to me very accidental, and it feels as though we really need to... He's giving me almost like a racing heart, and I feel like I'm talking about you here with this. It's almost like I have anxiety attacks every time I think about it. And he's talking about bringing in some healing with this, handing you a beautiful white rose, always my symbol for healing, really wanting you to release that. And that instead, every time when you think of the moments of his passing and you feel like it was this horrible incident, understand that it really kind of caught him off guard. And I do actually feel like it was quite quick. I feel like in the head, I really was not present in my head. So I don't get the impression that the awareness was really there. for him, but it does feel like everything from here to here was kind of wiped out, and I think that's a good thing. And he's talking about, please, if you could, replace your thoughts every time you start to have the anxiety attack. When you think of this, replace it with, and I almost feel like a picture. It's like a photograph that you have where he's smiling and he's very handsome, but it's a little stiff looking. And he says he wants you to remember like a favorite memory. And I almost feel like it's like a birthday party. And then I feel like it's like a sporting event, but it's like where he's very, very happy and energetic. And I feel like he's always making jokes. And I feel like just remember me making a joke. Like just take a joke and replay it and replay it and replay it. And it's almost like if you could breathe through the first like 13 seconds of that anxiety attack. Hold on. Okay. He's like, if you could breathe through the first 13 seconds of that anxiety attack, you'll be able to hear me a little bit more clearly. Because then I have almost like a plugging in my left ear, like a ringing in my left ear. And so I feel like after that instant feeling of trauma, you would be able to hear the messages that he has for you more clearly, and he certainly does have a ton. Okay, but know that he was at peace, and it feels a little sloppy is what happened the night of, and he's absolutely though making it very clear that this was supposed to happen when it happened. Okay, so everything is right on track. Just know that he loves and adores you and is around a great deal. Okay, thank you for that. Let me see if I can navigate the phone. How are we doing over there on questions? Do you want me to keep going with this?
Keep going. We do have one from last week. I don't believe that you got time to answer it. If you want to answer this one. It's from Aquarius Moon, and it's from 6 days ago last week.
Okay.
She asked, am I meant to serve spirit in this lifetime? Is this part of my contract?
Okay. I believe that I did actually answer that one.
You did? Okay, well, we had one that just came in, if you want to take that one instead.
Okay, I'll take that one, and then we'll go on to this one.
Okay, this one is from Glyph Says, and it says, what do I do with this? Where do I take it? Which direction do I go? I assume this is something specific for them.
Well, this is where testers come in and people who want me to take additional time to have to work when it really shouldn't be necessary. Yeah, when you ask a really super vague question like that and you're trying to get me like figure out what in the universe you could possibly be talking about, it takes a lot of extra time. So we're going to skip right on through that and go to someone who posed it. If you want to repose your question to ask a real question, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so, well, for right now, that's what we have coming in.
I have one right here. So this person wants to know what career should I be going into? And again, this was from last week. Let me see what I'm getting with that. Okay. So from last week, what career should I be going into? And I did message you and I did tell you that I would be answering. Okay, so you know who you are. Basically what I'm feeling with you is like you have a lot of business smarts. I feel like you have a lot of managerial skills, and I feel as though you are very quick to go into a situation a little bit type A and to go in and be like, you know what, this needs to be moved, we need this over here, you know, you really shouldn't be in this position at all. And so it looks like you have that going on. The thing about you is I feel like you reserve yourself quite a lot. And when you pull that energy back and you're not willing to do it because it's too much work, I have a grandmother coming through from mom's side who talks about your thoughts are more like, well, that's a lot of work. I don't know if I want to maintain that. I don't know that I would want to get stuck in a situation like that where on days when I don't want to manage, I couldn't just go hide and do something else that's a little more subtle. I understand that. I want to say that as far as that's concerned, that's part of your life contract. That's part of what you came here to Earth to do, but it isn't the whole picture. The rest of it feels to me a little bit like you're almost working with people's health and wellness. It seems like mental states. I almost get a little bit of like a medical feel, but I feel more in the sense of like sociology, psychology. So it seems like we're talking about communications there. Now, the thing with that is I think that you can marry these two so that you're not having to run something under someone else's boot for very long. I feel like your actual nervousness in being up in high management comes from having somebody up above you, sort of breathing down on you, telling you what to do. And I feel like this is going to be making more sense in the next 3 months as you're shifting towards something else. I do want to say that your work guide is here and that the universe will be moving you along and revealing more to you about what direction you ought to be going in. So, the thing with that is, hold on a minute. Okay. Once you get over this idea that you don't want to be doing it under a larger company or under somebody else, you're getting more into the right mindset of like self-employment, business ownership. And when you start to take that route, you're figuring out very quickly how you could be helping people, but also be out on your own. I'm seeing a lot of back and forth travel with you. It feels like commuting, but it also feels to me like you are controlling all of these things. So it feels like multiple opportunities that you're sort of reaping for yourself. And I'm supposed to tell you to speak. Okay, make sure you're really speaking your mind, not necessarily within the company that you're working in right now. It's more like in general, speak out more. You have a tendency to hold yourself way back. And that's sort of what's been leading to a bit of a holdup with all of that, okay? Yeah, but that feels like it's within your life contract. So good luck with all of that. Let me see what else, if I can pull up just one more from this. And do we have any more coming in through Ustream?
Not right now, but we should.
So we're going to stick to the texts. We have a whole bunch going on here.
Excellent.
Okay, so my last one that I had promised, and I know I had texted you guys back, is this one, okay, where I said I'll be answering it on next week's show. Again, for those of you that don't want to log in through Ustream or can't for whatever reasons, or YouTube, feel free to text your questions in 716-602-1391. And so the last one is, do you see a Victorian home in my future? Okay, let me see what I'm getting with this. You know, I'm feeling you going toward this house, but I'm also feeling like it's kind of temporary in a way. And so I feel like you're trying to get in there. I feel like you're really kind of actively trying to make it happen. I feel like you have a reserved way about it where you're like, oh, I'm not going to push it, but it feels like energetically you really kind of are. And I'm seeing you get in there, and then it's almost like you're being thwarted out. And so the energy, the timing wasn't always right. I do feel this happening for you, and then it almost seems as though there's like a settling. And it feels like at that time, you're kind of really noticing a lot of things that you didn't necessarily plan on noticing about it. And you're getting a little antsy, almost like for something else. And it doesn't feel like it's totally the way you are all the time, but it feels like that has a little bit to do with your personality, almost like I finally got what I want, and now I want something else, and like, what's the, you know, on to the next. So we may be looking at a little bit of a pattern. With that, I want to say that right now it feels like it's falling within free will domain, which means that it's possible that this could not happen, but I would bet money on it that it will. Feels like a real high likelihood. So I just want to say enjoy it. It also looks like I'm supposed to say that when I come into the house, where like if the stairway was here, there's a lot of activity down at the bottom of that and all through that whole area before you get to like the kitchen and stuff that would be back over here. There's a lot of activity and a gentleman who's very kind of fascinated with you. So it's going to be an interesting time. Okay, I want to move on to some of the questions that are coming in through text. So I have a 467 number. And they want to know, what do you think I should do with the house that I own? Should I keep renting it, sell it, or move back into it? Okay, what should I do with the house that I own? Should I keep renting it, selling it, or move back into it? Let me see. You know, I'll just break them out however they come to me. The last option, the moving back into it, it feels like this would be good for you for like 4 months. And then I feel like you're being pushed out. So you may need to either be like closer to your job or at a further distance, north, south, west, east. I have some sense of direction. I'm lying, but it would appear to be like east, like you're supposed to be going over that way. So you could find yourself in the property and then being like, I have to be over too far east, and like up a little bit. And so you could see some complication with that. I guess I would say that if you're going to do it, it's sort of it's a temporary fix. I also do, though, feel like it's a good time for you to be in there and sort of observing what the house is really all about, where you're going next. I feel peace. I feel serenity. I feel like it's sort of a lovely time for you. I don't feel bad about it. I just don't feel long-term about it. So that's really up to you. What you do with, that part of it. I don't get any major red flags. Selling it or renting it. Let me see what I'm getting. Okay, I'm going to have to go with selling it because what I'm actually seeing coming up for you is in the next like 2 to 2.5 years, definitely into the 3rd year. We could play with time a little bit on this because this is within the free will domain, but I'm feeling relocation for you and I feel like possibly out of state. So you may want to keep all of your options open. I feel like continuing to rent this thing is really a hassle. I don't feel like you're getting everything out of it that you could if you were to sell it. And that may not make logical sense right now, but it is what it is. And I feel like it actually does kind of make logical sense to you energetically, like you feel that that's true. Okay, so just trust your gut. Have a good time with it. Maybe live in it for a little bit and then kind of kiss it goodbye. It's not a bad setup. Okay. I want to move on to, good? Yep. Thank you. I want to move on to a 237 number. This person wants to know, why do I feel scared like there's someone or something always with me? From Savannah. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to say it this way. I can't negate that you have some spirits around you, but while there is a male that likes to come in who's a little without boundaries, there's a female who comes in who's a little overwhelming in her energy, a little bit of the creep factor going on with her, but I feel like neither of them are really a problem. I don't think that they're really trying to drain you or get you to do anything. I think that you could very easily just acknowledge that they're there and set up some boundaries with them. And they seem to come in and out, and the female almost feels like she has a genetic connection to you, and it feels more like a grandmother. But I go kind of far back with her. And that seems to happen a lot when you're in bed, when you're in your bedroom. I keep when you're in your bed. Okay, hold on, because I am gonna have to switch it. Again, this is like direction. If I'm in your bed, I believe, okay, I can't do it that way. The male feels like he's staying down toward the right. If I'm facing the bottom of your bed, he stays down toward the right. The female stays down at the left. And they just kind of come in and come out, not necessarily at the same time. You may be picking up on this. The other thing that I want to say with you is don't feed it. Don't entertain it. I don't feel like you have a very good sense on what exactly is going on. Too many people have a bit of a tendency to sense something and be like, oh, well, I'm sensing something around me, so it must be problematic, or this makes me uncomfortable. A lot of energy is going to make us uncomfortable. Other people's energy makes us uncomfortable. A desk, a roll of toilet paper can make you uncomfortable. It depends on what energy is in something. So try not to internalize it and make it about you. Remember, it's about what belongs to others and what is my own. Okay, so don't make it all about you. Dismiss things more easily. You'll know if you have a serious problem going on, and you don't. Okay.
I actually have a question coming in from Facebook. It's Carol746, and the question is, will the woman I love now be my life partner?
Okay. Okay. Will the woman you love now be your life partner? I feel a little bit of bumpiness going on with this. I have to be completely honest. I feel like for a period of time, that's how things are going to look. But I feel a little bit of unrootedness with this person sometimes, where they could find their mind going over to other things. Now, I'm not accusing of anything, and I'm not even saying that that's exactly where the disturbances would come from. I feel more like it's that you read that energy. You feel very, very sensitive and intuitive to me. When you read that energy, that her mind goes elsewhere, I think you need to be very careful about how you react to the fact that she is a bit of a wanderer. When you're dealing with a gypsy type, you're going to have to be a little bit more free-floating with that, or things are going to erupt. So around that time when I'm looking at that, it feels like it's potentially between like 9 to 12 months out. Essentially what I'm looking at is that whole system getting aggravated between the two of you, and it feels almost like we have very kind of polar opposite personalities going on here. She does not necessarily try to maintain you or get you to handle it in a different way. She just keeps doing whatever she's going to be doing. You, on the other hand, I feel like you try to sort of manage or get her to be the way that you want her to be. You're not going to be able to do that. So I think that if you can roll with that, you're kind of looking at a period of discomfort, possibly for 6 months or so, when you maybe feel as though you feel like, well, that wasn't fun. Something between us, didn't really go well. And I'm working with it. I'm rolling with it. I'm trying to be patient with it. I'm willing to keep investing in this girl because I love her. But if you start to let it creep in and sort of take over you in your control issues, that could very well cause some longer term disturbances. So I think that you guys still have a lot of learning to do with each other. But I do think it has long-term potential. I don't think she likes to be smothered. Okay, but
Ivy, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Real quick. I walked into the bathroom downstairs yesterday from where I live. And my friend Lacey was in there, and I walked into the door, and we both saw it happen. There was a glass sitting on the toilet paper dispenser.
Okay.
When I walked into the door, it flew off. Like somebody threw it off. We want to know, was that a spirit that did that?
Okay. I do feel like it was, and I'm almost feeling like most of my energy is actually going from, if you're facing in the bathroom, it's almost like from the left to the right. Like that's actively where I'm always trying to do it. I don't know if that's where it came from or not, but I feel like, is that right?
It was like, yeah, if you're
like
looking
almost like a diagonal, but it feels like this is where I always am trying to do something. I do feel a man. I feel like he was very mechanically inclined. I feel like he worked with his hands, but I feel like he worked with his hands on old machinery. I almost feel like around the time of like horse and buggies, almost like, or like the first car. It almost looks like screws, like big, huge, like a horse and buggy, like putting things together. I think that he made all of these repairs. And I do feel like he's around a great deal. I do get the sense that he's earthbound. I feel like he's more connected to the land, but I feel like he's very curious when you guys are in there because like this doesn't look anything like it used to. And so there's sort of an attraction to getting your attention or having some kind of communication because he's like seeing the new atmosphere. I also feel a female around there quite a great deal. And I do feel like she wears white a lot. And so I do feel like she carries with her a very healing energy. And she feels a little bit more maternal to me. And I think that they're aware of each other, but they don't interact with the people in the same way. But she feels very vocal. And I would also say that sometimes, not necessarily when you're in there, but when you go more toward the side and the front of that building, it almost seems like she communicates through clairaudience. So you may be able to like hear her in your head. Okay, and there's also some talk of something hanging from your ceiling. So I don't know if something new was just put up on the ceilings, either in the place where you were just talking about, but it's like new stuff, she says, is hanging from the ceiling.
Curtains.
They put up new curtains.
Like from the ceiling. Like yesterday.
Oh, wow, wild. Okay. Where is this?
The Gypsy Parlor.
Gypsy, okay. So yeah, she's just talking about something new, like hanging from up there.
Yep.
And being very pleased, and she likes the way that it looks, and so pass that on to the owner. But yeah, a lot of activity in there, but that's primarily that a guy.
All right, cool to know. I gotta tell
awesome
Lacey.
Question.
Yeah,
okay,
thank you.
Sweet. Let's see. We have another one here. Okay. Where it is. Okay. So I have somebody from a 343 number saying, my father hid the money, passed away, and we can't find it. Okay, could you ask him where it is? Let me see what I can get with this. And anytime you guys are sending in a question, pertaining to someone on the other side that you want to hear from, because I have 50,000 people over here on the other side waiting to talk, it does save time to be like, ask Charles where this thing is, or, whatever it is. And please, when you text your questions in, feel free to at least, give me your name. And like I was saying earlier about that one question, make it an exact question. Don't ask me something random that could come up in the whole universe. You're probably going to get, whatever comes to me first. And I don't like to work that hard. Hold on a minute. Okay. Okay. Here's basically what your father is giving me. First of all, I feel like you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, okay? And I feel like he may have had a lot of issues going on right in through here. And he's showing me either smoking or cancer, going on in the lung area. I feel like you almost get like a punch in the face of his energy when you go on down the basement stairs. And so it's almost like I'm trying to get down the first 4 or 5 stairs. And I'm like, oh, like I don't want to go down there. I think you're just really feeling his physical impression. But know that with you, it could be creating almost a feeling of an anxiety attack, which is super, super common. Anyways, as I'm getting down the stairs, I feel like I'm in front of the stairs. I feel like I'm under the stairs. I feel like something was cleaned up and moved around that area. I'm supposed to tell you to look over at the bottom of the basement stairs to the right. It feels like there's some piece of wood that reminds me of a railing. And I almost feel like I'm up in a wall. It also feels like there's someone else's things stored over there in between, not his own necessarily. It feels like female energy connected to that. And it's almost like in between where that railing would be, the bottom of the stairs, and the far wall. I feel like cans or canisters, and I try to put it in there, I try to put it up high. So if I were you, I would look in the wall, I would look up high, and I would look in containers where it may have been put up in there. I feel like possibly also 2 different spaces, because then I go, if that were the far right of the house, let's say, since I have no sense of direction, say that was the far right of the house, okay, over where I just explained. Go to the far left, go upstairs, go down the hallway, and go to a back room and see if a room that's really rarely used, almost like an office, maybe it was somebody's bedroom, it's just kind of left with stuff in it, possibly in their lower left back corner, some boxes pushed away from the wall a bit. It was there for a period of time, at least. I think there was concern over it being found. Good luck with that. Thank you so much. He asked about your keys, too. Like, I don't know if you lost your keys today or if you just got a new key for something. But just know he's mentioning the keys. He's just kind of dangling them. A ton of love to you. He's a sweet guy. Sweet guy. Let me see where I am with this. I lost order a little bit. Hold on. Okay, I think I found it. So I'm back. 716 numbers again. 713. I would like to ask if I am heading in the right direction with my current job. Thank you. Okay, let's see what's going on. It feels like you're really pulled in 2 different directions. I want to say that within your soul contract, it seems as though you're really supposed to be helping people a lot. Feels like you're supposed to be healing people. Feels like you're supposed to be having a ton of interaction with them, but taking large breaks away from it. I want to say that you're very empathic, and it seems that you could become overwhelmed with other people's energy. So we never want to push you too hard in that direction. What I like about your contract, your personality, all of this, you just seem like a really great person all around. I just really adore you. As do your loved ones on the other side over here, who are kind of chiming in on this a little bit. This is the thing. You need to clear out energy a little bit more. You do tend to accumulate from other people. That would help to propel you a lot further in your relationships, but also in your career. And so I'm talking about like empathic ability, okay? Google it. And it seems like you finally hit the right note. I have a grandfather who steps through on mom's side of the family. I have a grandfather who also comes through on dad's side of the family who's a very hard worker. Feels like he may have been a little harsh on judgment, kind of militant as well. But he was a very hard worker. And he's talking about you worked and you were patient. He said you waited for this to come. And like you're finally here. You finally figured out the pieces of the puzzle. And I feel like that's okay. Like enjoy it. Keep going the direction you're going in. But you really have to understand about yourself and your life contract that it's never just going to be that one simple thing. You're never just going to be able to continue on with that forever. You're going to have to incorporate this other part in, even if you have like 2 separate careers going on, but give yourself plenty of space away from people, and I would highly recommend the Empathic Means class that's coming up this week. Okay, thank you so much. Good luck with that. You're a beautiful healer. Okay, where are we? We have anything coming in through this? Okay, so I have a couple more here. And I'll tell you guys one more time, and then we'll probably like do a few more and then see where I feel like heading with it. But you guys can log in through Ustream and also YouTube. You can send your questions in that way, and you can also text them on into me at 716-602-1391, and I'll try to get to as many as I can tonight. For those of you who aren't able to get through tonight, I'll try to get to them next week, or you can always tune into my radio show as well, also called Ask a Medium. That's on ParaX Radio, internet radio, and that's Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. right before Down the Rabbit Hole. Okay, so I want to get to Mandy. She says, my grandfather has been trying to deliver a message to me. Are you able to elaborate or deliver anything from him for me? Let me see what's going on. Okay. He's talking about fast, move fast. You need to move fast. I feel like you're getting a little sensitive in the stomach. I feel like people around you are getting a little sensitive in the stomach. And what that can mean is that there's some emotional upset going on. And there's a little bit of overabsorption of energy going on. And that's creating some turmoil that you're not really supposed to be a part of. I feel it spreading. I feel it branching out almost like branches of a tree. And so what I feel he's really sort of advising on is that you make some decisions and you move forward. He's talking about your mouth. It's almost as though 3 conversations have happened. And I feel like, okay, so if I'm looking over here to the past, he's talking about one happened like 2 months ago. I feel like one just happened almost like a day, 2 days ago, today. It's like, it's right here in your present energy. I feel like the other one is coming up, but it's also in your present energy, which means like it's this week. And I feel like that conversation needs to happen, and I feel like third time is a charm. And he says there's nothing else to listen to. I feel like you need to be moving forward. I feel like I'm talking about relationship stuff, and I feel like there's nothing else to be said, okay? So another way of saying this is like no stone left unturned, and he wants to know how you've been almost like breathing and how your back is and the pain all through there, because I almost feel like this situation has a little bit of a way of creating actual physical ailments for you, and it's become actually quite toxic. And I'm concerned about others around you getting heavy, okay, and low with the energy, so move forward. But know that he loves you very much. Yeah. And I don't know if you were concerned about a car. There's talk of like an increase in car and mobility and like things with the car, like everything's going to be good, everything's going to be fine. Know that he's watching over with that. Thank you so much for that question. Okay, I want to move on to a 548 number. I'm lost. I'm not sure what direction to go in with love, my work, with my future. Okay, thank you for narrowing that down. Let me see which one sticks out the most. Well, okay, I think I can actually get to all of them. So listen, as far as love is concerned, okay, this is not really a time for you to lock anything in. I'm just going to put it that way. Have fun, keep it light. No, not right now. Give it 3 years. With work, you're moving up 2, and then you're moving out. So make sure you take the promotion, go get it, and then get out of there. With your future in general, I feel a little bit of stagnancy with the living situation. I almost feel like you're in a house that you don't necessarily love. I almost feel like you're in a location that you're not necessarily in love with. I feel like you're kind of waiting it out. It feels like after that second promotion, after that second raise or upswing in the job, when you're shifting out, I feel like that's when a more serious relocation starts to come into the picture. And it's almost like you don't ponder it for very long. I feel a little bit like you're a little, it's funny with you because you remind me a little bit of a, well, they refer to them as square personalities. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. The square personality traditionally, you know, in like corporate America was known to be like a more stuck personality. Somebody who wouldn't move unless all their ducks were in a row. I get that with you, but then I get bouts of almost like very flighty personality where you just kind of maybe have trouble settling down or finishing a whole project. And I feel like something that you may have procrastinated, okay, like that square type of personality, in you would do. I feel like when it's time for this move, you don't do that at all. You actually just kind of take to flight, and I feel like you should. I feel like West Coast, maybe like Arizona, and I feel like that's when you're finding love that you can actually commit to. So nothing here can really be all that permanent because of all of this, okay? Thank you so much for that question. We're going to move on to a 712. Question for Ivy. If it's not too late, no, it's not too late. As she says, if it is, no worries. I get this feeling of deja vu all the time. Does this mean something? And if so, what? I'm getting actually a lot of male energy from you, so whether this is a male, you have a lot of dominant personality. I just want to say that it's almost as though this has been here for you all along. I'm watching you as a kid doing this. I'm watching you growing up and almost having like a stagnancy period where it wasn't happening as much, and then I'm watching it pick up again. And it feels to me like what you're doing is you're almost like evolving. And around where you are with your development right now, a lot of the deja vus have to do with you working at night. I feel like astral travel, which is going to mean that you're traveling about possibly to like other universes, maybe going and visiting people. I feel you working with angels and guides and doing good work. And so you might wake up sort of exhausted. So it feels like you're really meeting up with a lot of like your soul group too, and a lot of people that you're supposed to be connecting with in this life. I do feel an increase in that. I'm also feeling like you're learning a lot more about your past lives. So some of your deja vus now, and it almost feels like in the last like 2 years, have almost become not so much even about this life as it is like way, way, way back. So some deja vus we can make sense of, almost like, oh, I time traveled. I'm sure I time traveled. And other ones are like, wait, what? Like what? Like what is? I was a farmer. I was a male. I don't understand. So I feel that happening for you, and I feel like you're in a period of developing, understanding more of what jobs you're supposed to be finishing up in this life and what's going on in your relationships based on your past lives. So your deja vus are shifting a bit. Pretty interesting stuff. Yes.
We have a couple questions coming in. Okay, so the first one is from Linda, and she wonders, how is her mother's surgery going to go? It's a shoulder surgery.
Okay. I was up high. I feel like we're keeping a very close eye on the blood pressure and things like that. I feel like we're keeping a close eye, on the heart. And when I'm saying that, and like I get a horrible pain in my back, this is messing up her back. This has to happen. I mean, there's no way around the surgery. I mean, that's excruciating. And whether she's having it that bad now or that's like how it would be, she can't be dealing with that all the time, or it's like affecting her breathing and everything. So what I feel is this is exactly where she's supposed to be. And I think send that positive energy. Do not allow in the question of, will it be okay? Yes, it will be okay. I am manifesting that it will be okay. I'm sending light, love, angels. I'm sending out I'm sending every positive energy over to her. And I feel like she's a fighter. I feel like sometimes she plays a little bit of the, but she's actually quite a stubborn lady. And I really wouldn't worry about it at all. She's got to get that pain out of her back. And if this is going to fix it and stop transferring to other parts of the body, that's the best thing that can happen. I do actually feel like it'll be a really good improvement for her too. And I feel her snapping out of this quite quick. I feel her like waking up and almost like being ready to eat and get going a little before they're even comfortable with her doing that. She has two very watchful eyes over her there at the hospital. I believe one is the surgeon. I think one is more like her doctor. And I feel like he goes way back with her. So whether they go way back in time or he's just very affectionate with her, I feel like there's a lot of adoration there. Like that is his mom. Like she's being watched over like top notch. It's fabulous. I would go for it. Yes.
We have a couple more coming in if you want to take them. We have a Michael from Facebook. And he's wondering, will there be new career opportunities for me this year?
Okay. 3. The third is debatable. 2. So if we're talking about destiny charted information, this should show up in your astrological chart. This is coming. It cannot be manipulated. It can't be taken from you. You can't do anything but, choose how your free will is going to react to it. It feels like 2 opportunities there. Then there's a potential third based on... I'm not sure what the heck that's based on. I thought it was based on what you did with these 2, but it's not. So there's a potential third. It must be possibly manipulated because it falls within free will. It could be manipulated by other people who will make that decision, by the companies that are kind of putting things together, that looks like, by something that's coming in from out of town, possibly also offering them something bigger, so it may not end up being offered to you. If something bigger comes along, then no. If they stay the way that they are or within the vicinity, then you'll get 3. But these two, the first one almost feels like it requires quite a lot of travel. And so it looks like, I'm hearing almost like boots on the ground. So it feels like you're going to need to, pack your bags and be all in. And so this could be a rather large investment. I'm also seeing what looks to me like a book. So you putting something together, and also educating yourself, and it feels like development, almost like you're putting a new project together. In between there and the second project. So a lot comes from that. You're also meeting several people at the first opportunity, 2 males in particular, one with a darker kind of energy, possibly even darker hair, darker outward appearance, very bold in personality, very go-getter, very kind of almost controlling and manipulative in a way, but very, very funny, very serious about business. I feel like he's offering you an opportunity, and a second guy who's softer in every way, but both opportunities are really great for you. Take you in a couple different directions. The second thing I feel female is very much connected to, and she would kind of be attracting that to you somehow, helping you to get that, whether you ever end up realizing that or not. And I feel like take them all. Okay, take them all and go with it. Don't overbank on that second one, though. It's got some holes in it. Okay, thank you. Yes.
We have 2 more if you want, coming in from Facebook.
I'll keep taking them from here. Yeah.
Okay. The next one is from Juliet. She wants to know if her father still visits her store.
Okay. Am I like centered here at all?
Yeah, you're head centered. I'm not.
Right, because I feel like I want to like dance around. Like I'm get out of here and I'm going to do cartwheels and I want to get off my ex. Okay, how many more? What was the question again?
Her question is, she wants to know if her father still visits her store.
Okay. And we can totally let her in.
Okay.
Does her father still visit the store? Okay. I feel like absolutely. Know that he's around quite a lot. I do feel as though he comes in through a back area. And can I get you to shift over? I'm going to get you to shift over that way. Thank you. Okay. We have company at the academy, and we love her. Hi, Hopi.
Hi, Hope.
I do feel like he comes in through almost like there's a separate door, almost like there's a separate entrance. And I almost get the feel that this place has a very warm, almost like if I was like a hobbit and I was kind of like going into my hut. I almost feel like I'm going into a very warm, cozy atmosphere. It feels like family. It feels like love. It feels like friendship. It feels like laughter. It feels like lovely things. Know that he comes in that way. I guess if I was at the back, I was facing the front, I'd be coming in from the far right. And he's talking about you looking at a window that also feels like it's along the right side and more toward the front. And he's like talking about you looking in a window, and it's almost like wanting to hang something there, or was there like glass? It's like something hanging and talking to him, and he's talking about old heartache with you. He's hoping that this brings some healing messages to you, because I do feel like you still really mourn his death in a lot of ways, and almost feels like pain in the chest, quite literally, sometimes. And he's talking about you taking a fun trip. I don't feel like it's a very long road trip. I just feel like it's you in the car and really, really enjoying. And he says, I'm actually in the car more. So I actually feel like he's like sitting on the passenger side more. I do feel like he's trying to visit you in some dreams as well. And it feels like something's being remodeled or done with the house. Originally, you've shown me the bathroom, but I don't think that's all that's going on. Something about the floor, the carpet, and something else. It's just always around in the house a lot too. So yes, not just the shop, but he is very pleased with what you're doing. I feel like you're trying to make some new decisions on it, and like, am I expanding? What am I going to do with this? Feels like you're outgrowing some stuff, okay? He's just talking about bigger, and what makes you happy, okay? Thank you so much. Do we have another one coming from here?
Yep, one coming in on Ustream. It's from Tree815, and she says, where do you see my career heading?
Where do I see your career headed? Okay. It looks like you're branching out into some larger, almost like larger areas. So I would put it this way: if you were this as an example, okay? If you were selling a product and you were going from like a vendor's table, you would be going into like a mall. It looks though like it's behind, it doesn't look like, it is behind me, which is going to mean that this is something you either thought about doing in the past, you tried to do once, it didn't work out, maybe a kiosk or something like that, like you've debated on this. And so it feels to me like you would be essentially taking your work, okay, whatever this is that you do, and you would be growing it. But you would be going back to where you had once planned or wanted to be with it. And I feel a very high success rate, actually. It almost reminds me of, how do I say, like if scouts go out or agents go out and they start looking for people in like small towns and things like this, they look in areas where these people would be. It's almost like people are watching what you do and what you have, and you're being picked up by something bigger. And so it feels like it expands from there, but that would be the next part. My voice is going to be shot after this next one. I can take one more. Do you have another one?
I do not.
Then I'll take it from here. Okay. From a 266 number. Hi, Ivy. I have a really strong connection with my ex, and we recently are going separate ways by his choice. Do you see us getting back together, or should I back away for good? Okay. This is kind of a funny situation, because the first thing that I got with him, jumping into his energy, was that he didn't tell you everything. I almost feel like I'm sorry for you in a way, because you were working not with like a full deck of cards, and that sounds wrong. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like you didn't have all the information, right? So he really kind of made you think that he was pulling away for some reasons when there was actually a little bit more going on than that. Now, as I'm looking at that stuff isn't coming up. You just are going to have to kind of take my word for that. That there's more than meets the eye here. And it feels like you need to kind of let him go and do his thing and figure out what exactly he really wants. There's a little bit of manipulative energy going on here, but it's masked by a very strong demeanor that he puts out of like, I am upfront, I am an open book, I am being completely honest, this is what I need, this is what I want. That can really trip you up, because while that's true, there's also this is also true. And so you would be very, very wise to pick up your pieces, understand that you have a grandfather who comes through with a grandmother, but they're not holding hands, so I don't know that they were very lovey-dovey, but know that they do both come through. I believe I'm on mom's side here, and I feel like pick up your pieces, put them in your bag, and get to traveling. And as I'm looking over here to your future, there are a lot of different options. You've got options going over here in the free will domain. You've got options going on in Destiny Charted. I do feel somebody else coming through for you 4 to 5 years out, and I feel a potential wedding ring, whether that's a long-term relationship or wedding ring. It's whatever you choose to do with it. It's the opportunity for that to be locked in. So that will be coming. By no means was this the only person out there or is charted for you. In the meantime, though, I feel like it has a lot to do with you figuring out more about where you want to be living, where you want to go with your career. And I actually feel like this guy was dragging you down in a lot of ways that you can't see clearly. You will, 2 to 3 years out, you're going to see that this was actually holding you back in a lot of ways. There are parts of your personality that are going to evolve now that he's not a factor, and your mind isn't constantly going, well, what about us? What about us? Okay, and that's exactly where you need to be. Know that they're going to be leading and guiding you, and I feel it really skyrocketing for you very, very quickly. Enjoy the ride, have fun, and get yourself out there, and bigger love is coming. Okay, let him do his thing. Let him go. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Listen, we have another Ask a Medium show coming up next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. When The Walking Dead comes back on TV, I'm going to shift the show probably up an hour after The Walking Dead, because I cannot compete with this apparently. So we'll be maneuvering things a little bit. I also have a radio show also called Ask a Medium on ParaX Radio, which is internet radio. Find me on Facebook at Ivy Rivera, and find me at IvyRiveraPsychicMedium.com. If you're interested in classes, IvyLeaguePsychicAcademy.com.
And we have a holiday promo running. Yes, so you can get a deal. Call Ivy. It makes a great gift. She gives out gift certificates for her services and the Academy. So,
Absolutely.
excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Great show.
Blessings.